2. The story of Exodus of Moses. Have you ever felt trapped, like there was no way out? Imagine an entire nation feeling that way for 400 years. This is the story of a promise, a prophet, and a spectacular rescue that would echo through eternity. It all begins with a baby in a basket, floating down a river, destined to change the world. In the mighty land of Egypt, under the shadow of the Great Pyramids, the Hebrew people were enslaved. They toiled under the harsh sun, their backs breaking, their spirits crushed. For generations, they cried out, hoping someone would hear their prayers, and someone did. Far away, a baby named Moses was saved from a terrible decree by his brave mother and sister. Found by Pharaoh's own daughter, he was raised as a prince of Egypt, completely unaware of his true identity and the incredible destiny that awaited him. As a young man, Moses lived a life of luxury, but he couldn't ignore the suffering of the Hebrew slaves. One day, seeing an Egyptian taskmaster being cruel, he intervened. In a moment of anger, he acted, and his life changed forever. Fearing for his life, Moses fled Egypt, leaving behind his royal life and venturing into the vast, unforgiving desert. He became a shepherd, a humble man living a quiet life. He thought his story was over, but it was just the beginning. One day, while tending his flock on Mount Horeb, Moses saw something impossible. A bush, engulfed in flames, yet not burning up. As he drew closer, a voice boomed from the fire. It was the voice of God. God told Moses that he had heard the cries of his people in Egypt and had chosen Moses to lead them to freedom. Moses was terrified. He was just a shepherd. He had a stutter. How could he possibly confront the most powerful man in the world, the Pharaoh? But God promised to be with him. He gave Moses a staff, a simple wooden stick, but it would become a symbol of divine power. He also sent Moses' brother Aaron to be his spokesman. With renewed, albeit nervous, courage, Moses and Aaron returned to Egypt. They stood before the mighty Pharaoh and delivered God's message, "Let my people go." Pharaoh, his heart hardened, laughed. Who was this God that he should obey? He refused and made the slaves work even harder. So began a contest of wills, a battle between a stubborn king and the king of the universe. God sent a series of 10 devastating plagues upon Egypt to show his power and break Pharaoh's pride. The mighty Nile River turned to blood. Frogs swarmed the land, covering everything. Gnats and flies descended in thick, buzzing clouds. Sickness struck the livestock, hail of fire and ice rained from the sky, and swarms of locusts devoured every green thing. Each time, Pharaoh would promise to let the people go, and each time, once the plague was lifted, he would change his mind, his heart growing harder still. The 9th plague was a terrifying supernatural darkness that covered Egypt for 3 days, a darkness so thick it could be felt. Yet, in the homes of the Hebrews, there was light. Still, Pharaoh refused. So, God announced one final, heartbreaking plague. The firstborn in every Egyptian family would perish. But he provided a way of escape for his people. He instructed each Hebrew family to take a perfect lamb, mark their doorposts with its blood, and roast and eat the meat in a special meal. This meal was called the Passover. That night, as the angel of death passed through Egypt, it passed over every house marked with the blood. There was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where someone was not lost. Finally broken, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron in the middle of the night. "Go," he commanded. "Leave my land and take your people with you." Wasting no time, the Hebrews gathered their families and their belongings. After 430 years of bondage, they were finally free. A huge crowd, more than 600,000 men, plus women and children, began their great journey out of Egypt. Led by Moses, God did not lead them by the shortest route, but by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, a constant visible reminder that he was with them. Their joy was shortly read as they reached the edge of the Red Sea. They looked back and saw a terrifying sight, Pharaoh and his army, chariots and all, thundering after them. He had changed his mind again. The people were trapped. The sea was in front of them, and the most powerful army on earth was behind them. They cried out in fear, "Were there not enough graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die?" But Moses stood firm and told the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Then, as instructed by God, Moses raised his staff over the water. A mighty east wind began to blow, and all through the night, the impossible happened. The waters of the Red Sea parted, creating a dry path right through the middle of the ocean, with towering walls of water on either side. All night long, the Israelites walked on dry ground, crossing the sea to safety. Read. When the last one had reached the other side, the Egyptian army charged into the seabed in pursuit. But as the sun rose, God told Moses to stretch out his hand again. The walls of water collapsed, and the entire Egyptian army was swallowed by the sea. Not one of them survived. On the other side, Miriam, Moses' sister, led the women in a song of victory. The people of Israel were truly free, saved by the mighty hand of God. Their journey was far from over. They had a long road ahead through the wilderness, but they had witnessed a miracle that would be told for generations. It's a powerful reminder that even when we feel trapped, with a sea before us and an army behind us, hope is never lost. With faith, even the impossible can become a pathway to freedom. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. If this story inspired you, please give this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel Bible Tunes for more amazing stories. See you next time.